All right, welcome to this training where we're going to be talking about the desk tool, which is your desk and your workspace. It's going to be super important because obviously, how can you actually even have a desk tool to put on if you don't have a desk, right? And so this is the reason why it's going to be so important, because God forbid you are working in your bed or you're working on a chair like this guy. No. Because if you do not have a specific place to work set aside for your business, you are going to struggle, okay? You're going to have a very hard time building a business in this position, okay? And so it's highly recommended that you have a desk or a dedicated workspace, so that way you can have the consistency of just being able to show up and do the work in the location that you said, you know what, this is going to be the place that I'm going to go ahead and work in. And so you got to have something that looks dedicated, maybe something like this, right? And it's going to be critical, right? This is just an example, but having something that's a desk, that way you can go ahead and place the different desk tools that you have. You have your computer that you're placing on there, your external monitor, your external keyboard, your external mouse. You got a nice chair that's nice and comfy to sit on, okay? It doesn't have to look exactly like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like this. It's just an example, but we're just opening your eyes to understanding this, okay? Because why is this important? Because congratulations, you're in the process of becoming a professional business owner and hopefully high income business owner. And so you know what that means when you start to have your own business? It means you got to have your own setup. You got to have your own dedicated place to work. Now, this is going to be an environment where you're spending a lot of time in, right? And so you want to take the time to actually make this environment good for yourself, right? You want to make it a place that you actually enjoy working. Plus, all of the different desk tools that we're going to talk about throughout this entire training, they're going to need a dedicated place in order to go ahead and set those up, right? Where are you going to go ahead and set up your extra monitor, your keyboard, your mouse? Like, are you going to set that up all on a dinner table? Are you going to set that up at Starbucks coffee shop? You're going to set all that up on your bed? Like, those are all typically places whenever I hear anybody, they're like, hey, you know what? I work on my bed, or I work at the dinner table on this tiny computer, or I work on this folding chair randomly somewhere, right? It's like, okay, you know what? Those are typically things that I hear from newbies and entrepreneurs, because professional entrepreneurs set their environment up for success. So that way it's optimal productivity, okay? They have a dedicated place for that. And so that is what's going to be your action step in this training. And so if that means that you got to have the conversation with your spouse, a family member, roommates, whoever you live with, and you got to tell them, hey, look, I'm starting a business. I need my dedicated place to work where I can focus, and I'm going to need a place for all of my tools to actually be, so that way I can actually build the business, okay? Now, in terms of different options when it comes to your desk and your workspace, quite frankly, it is nowadays dirt cheap. Even if you wanted to go ahead and get a standing desk, right? To be able to go ahead and be a little bit healthy, stand up, move around, be able to help with the focus, because your physiology is going to be reflected in your psychology. And back in a couple years ago, like 5-6 years ago, it used to cost like $500-$600 in order to get a standing desk. Nowadays, it's super cheap, right? Like, this is a desk that we recently bought, and this one, it's $159, $160, and then it also has a $40 coupon on there, right? So you're talking about $120, and you got an amazing standing desk that you can literally place anywhere and then be able to go ahead and work sitting or standing. But again, remember, the first rule of business and entrepreneurship is to use what you have. So if you don't have $100 or $200 to spend on a desk right now, it's okay. Get creative, get resourceful, just find a place that you can work. And then you just got to think about, look, if I had my clients walking into my office or my workspace today, you know, how would my desk look? How would my floor look? How does my area look? How does my environment look? Because what you got to remember is that your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So the more ruthless you are in creating and crafting deliberately your environment, the more clarity and attention that you're going to have to be able to spend towards your income, your business, and your future. This is the reason why you call it paying attention, because it's where you are spending your attention, right? So physical objects, the environment, especially for us as humans, unless you're some sort of alien, the thing is, you're probably a human being, okay? And human beings are extremely sensitive to their environment and how it takes up their attention, okay? So if you're working on a bed or working on the dinner table, do not be surprised if you have difficulty focusing, building, and getting things done, because it's only inevitable that that is not the most conducive place to be able to be productive. Now, of course, if that's the only place that you have and you're like, you know what, I'm in a season in my life right now where I just can't do anything else, well, obviously you got to do what you got to do, right? But you want to make sure that you're balancing both sides of it, where you're not just like, you know, purposefully working on your bed because you know, you don't even want to take the time to set up a specific workspace, okay? And then just to go ahead and remind you, the question that a lot of people might ask is like, hey, cool, should I wait to have my business desk set up before I start anything else? Now, we've already talked about this in a previous training, so I'm not going to hammer this home again. I know we're kind of preaching to the choir here, beating the dead horse unicorn, but I just want to go ahead and run it one more time. You want to use what you have. You do not want to be sitting around twiddling your thumbs and saying, oh, I don't have the perfect computer or the perfect desk or the perfect workspace. You want to use the tools that you have regardless, and you want to be smart about about it, right? You want to decide, hey, let me not be an idiotic on the one side of it and idiotic on the other side of it. Let me figure out how I can do the best with what it is that I have so I can get the work done with the wisdom to know, hey, what are the tools that I'm going to need in order to help me get the work done even faster or more efficiently, okay? So this is going to be your action step, ladies and gentlemen, inside of this training. Before you move on, you want to make sure that you at least assess, hey, what is going to be my workspace? Where am I going to work? How is that going to look like? And that is exactly what's going to be so important for you to be successful long-term. And again, remember, we're not done yet. We have some other desk tools that we need to go into as well, right? So we're continuing down our training section list inside of this specific training. But this, ladies and gentlemen, has been this training on the foundational desk tool of your actual desk and your workspace. You're doing great. You're doing phenomenal. I'm telling you that all this dedication is brick by brick, layering. As long as you keep staying focused on your goals, you're investing in the right direction, you're chipping away at it inch by inch, all of this is going to add up for you to be able to have a successful business as long as you stick with it and you put in the work. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, we're not done yet. We will catch you on the next training section.